Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotions. This is our first day devotion. Today is Labor Day. It is interesting history and connection with Labor Day. The first Labor Day was celebrated 139 years ago in 1882, when 10,000 workers marched on the streets of Manhattan. Back then, the average dedicated American worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. Thank goodness that nowadays work days are much less than 12 hours. But we continue to feel blessed by our labor. I have learned that real honest-to-goodness work is one thing that gives me purpose. And purpose is the one thing that will help you feeling fulfilled. William Booth had some ideas about improving labor. In 1891, the Salvation Army opened its own match factory in the Bow District of London, using less red phosphorus and paying better wages. Part of the reason behind the match factory was the desire to improve the conditions of home workers, including children who dipped white phosphorus matches at home. Several children died from eating those matches. The Salvation Army was working on improving their safety matches. When they first initially tried to do this, it was 3 times the price of the white phosphorus match. They had some partial success because many of the supporters refused to buy the poisonous white phosphorus matches. The Salvation Army automated much of the matchmaking process, but not the filling of boxes, and they brought the cost down, and the use of child labor in dangerous trades was prohibited. The factory still did struggle to compete on price, and in 1898, there was no longer any advertisements in the war cry. There was one final advertisement that was run on the 24th of February, 1900. The Salvation Army match factory finally closed and was taken over by Bryant and May on the 26th of November, 1901. In 1908, the House of Commons passed an act prohibiting the use of white phosphorus in matches made in the United Kingdom after the 31st of December, 1910. Thank you for joining us today. See you again tomorrow.